that I think is central to the American story. Each wave of immigrants that have come in have been able to assimilate, integrate, and then rise up and become part of this great American dream.
What President Obama is talking about is relevant to immigration and the Development, Relief, and Education for Alien Minors Act, also known as the DREAM Act. This bill has been commonly misinterpreted several times by the media, so we'll just set the record straight for you. The bill, if passed, would provide qualified alien students conditional permanent residency, but it's really not that simple. In order to qualify for it, you must have arrived in the U.S. by the age of 16, prove you've been here for at least 5 years, be between the ages of 12 and 35 at the time the bill passes, graduated from high school or earned a GED, and be of good moral character. Instead of just interviewing the usual politicians in most documentaries, we wanted to hear about the act through the very people affected by it. So for this documentary, we got to speak with several DREAM Act sympathizers and 2 migrant students who have their own opinions. We first checked our local campus and found someone willing to speak.
Alejandra Ramos.
She also revealed herself as an AB 540 student.
Can you tell me the experience?
But wait, what is an AB 540 student? Well, they're called that because they go to school with the help of the California Assembly Bill 540, AB 540, which lets students who meet the requirements pay in-state tuition for college, which is definitely less expensive than out-of-state tuition. But in order to qualify for that, you must have attended high school for 3 years, earned a GED or anything equivalent, be enrolled or registered in a higher ed institution, which is college, and you must file an affidavit or a claim that you will apply for legal residency as soon as possible. Sheesh, next thing you know, you'll have to jump through flaming hoops while juggling 3 chainsaws. While we've heard of the DREAM Act through rallies and speeches, we also wanted to hear about it firsthand through the very people it affects. So we found a few immigrant students who would gladly speak out and, for safety reasons, have asked that their identities be concealed. We first asked them about why they would come here under these circumstances.
You're a student at what campus?
I'm a student at here, either because of poverty or domestic violence. So there's a lot of reasons why they come here. But the DREAM Act, what it would do is take that into consideration and offer students a path of citizenship. So they would apply based on different categories.
Things that involve you being a citizen in this country or having a social security number, to have for a cell phone contract, being able to have that, or having a stable job where you can work legally.
Next, we asked them about their plans for the future.
I don't know yet. I want to go to graduate school, but it's very difficult right now, especially with the jobs, not being able to have a job and be able to save up for college.
And after that, we needed to go towards the future hopefuls, high schoolers. So we went to a local high school where we found a group of students willing to tell us their stories. Like our last interviewees, we first asked them about their plans for the future.
I plan to finish high school and then go to a community college and then transfer to a university. My plan is to go to Palomar College and then transfer after 2 years to a university. My plan after graduating high school is to go to community college and study and then transfer to San Francisco.
We almost had to cancel our interview after that question because a fire alarm nearly evacuated the campus.
We have no idea what the heck's going on.
But we just decided to keep the interview going outside. We then asked them about their families.
My brother was undocumented, and a year before graduating from high school, he dropped out. And my other siblings have gone to high school or a semester of college and then drop out. I have a sister here that went to Vista High School, and she only went to 11th grade, and because of economical problems, she had to drop out. I have a sister that graduated from high school and goes to Palomar College, and my brother only finished high school because he couldn't finish or go into higher education
When we asked one of our migrant students about her family story, she gave quite an emotional answer that almost didn't make it to this film.
No.
Why is that?
I don't know. My mother, when I told her that I was going to college, she pretty much told me no, because she can't afford it and because I'm not a citizen of the United States, to just leave that to my sister because she was born here and I wasn't. So ever since the beginning, she was never really supportive. Right now, she doesn't know that I graduated. She doesn't know where I am with school. She doesn't really know much. So it's pretty much just I'm on my own. So it's even more difficult when you don't have the emotional support and you don't have the financial support. So it's hard.
In 2010, the DREAM Act was defeated by Congress 2 times. Once by filibuster, which is basically talking the bill to death, and again by Congress the next day. Representative Brian Bilbray heavily opposed the bill and has been partially successful.
They will look at the kind of dress you wear. There is different type of attire. There's different type of, right down to the shoes, right down to the clothes, but mostly by behavior.
Did you hear that? He said you can spot illegal immigrants by their clothes and behavior. That would be like trying to find bad parents by how many toys their kid has. But there are people fighting back.
I wouldn't consider it dead necessarily, just because I felt like this time it was very close to passing because we did have a lot of support and just the momentum that kept going from the community.
Not a lot of people know about the DREAM Act. Sometimes even when you mention AB 540, they kind of ask what's AB 540, and AB 540 is pretty much the bill that passed in 2000 that allows students that are undocumented to go to college.
Francine Busby, a candidate for the House who lost to Bilbray in the 2010 election, is an avid supporter of the DREAM Act and speaks out in favor of education reform.
He is now the chairman of this. He's grown the caucus. It's very conservative. It's mostly a Republican caucus.
On November 16, 2010, President Obama called for the reintroduction of the DREAM Act by November 29th, almost 2 weeks later.
And they're ready to go to college. They find out they can't go to college, and in fact, their status as Americans are threatened.
It's not too late to fight for the right to education. And like the bill passed in 2002 by former President Bush reads, no child should be left behind.